Tonight, I saw Supergirl, Werewolves, and remember James Burrows and the voice of Lilo. All that and more in this edition of Multiverse tonight.
Welcome to Multiverse Tonight, your source for geek news. We dissect films, games, comics, and much more, bringing you insightful commentary on pop culture. This is Multiverse Tonight. Now, here's your host, Thomas Town.
Well, hello and welcome to episode 268 of Multiverse Tonight. I'm, of course, your host, Thomas Townley. And, well, as I said at the opening there, I saw Supergirl a couple days ago on Thursday, preview day. Not widely attended, but it's a Thursday. It was a good movie, frankly. You know, I'm, it's pretty much about grief, loss, and, that revenge doesn't get you anywhere, doesn't get you anything. It just, destroys you. But that's pretty much what the book that was based on, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. I do advise that you look at that because it will give you a sense of the story beats as you go along. They changed, of course, a lot of things. They put Lobo as as kind of a reoccurring character. She meets up with him once, and then he comes in at the towards the end to help exact revenge on Krem and his pirates. So it's a good film. Gives you backstory on Supergirl, why she's, why she wants to get drunk all the time, why she has the hang-ups that she does, and basically sets her up to be, I'm gonna give this, superhero thing a shot. So I recommend going to see it. Why not? I mean, I'm sure you've seen Toy Story 5. 5 Toy Stories. Why do we need 5 Toy Stories? The story ended 2 times already. Anyway, let's get on. First with a little bit of DC news and then a lot of geek news. This is not really big news week. So let's go. DC News begins with DC Studios co-chairman and co-CEOs James Gunn and Peter Safran having met with Paramount Skydance chairman and CEO David Ellison amid the ongoing merger between Warner Bros. Discovery and Paramount Skydance. At the Brooklyn Blue Carpet premiere of Supergirl this past Monday night, executive producer Lars P. Winther confirmed that Ellison had already been to Atlanta, where Man of Tomorrow, the follow-up to 2025 Superman, is currently in production. Quote, he came to Trillis Studios already. That's where we shot all our movies that James directs. He came to Atlanta. We showed him everything, and we're having discussions with him. Unquote. After Netflix declined to raise its bid for Warner Bros. Discovery, and Paramount and Warner Bros. Discovery agreed to move forward to the tune of $111 billion, questions arose about James Gunn's and Peter Safran's future at the helm of DC Studios. According to Winther, Ellison is currently interested in the duo's work in slate, which, when announced in 2023, included 10 titles. Quote, he's pretty open to what we're doing. We have a slate and a lot of it, obviously. Clayface is already out. We're already having the Lanterns TV show on those things. The train's left the station. So we're good, but he's a big fan. He's been great with us. He's given us kind of what we want. So far, everything's good, unquote. As for where that slate will take them once the Millie Alcock-led Supergirl comes and goes out of theaters, Winther points to several announced titles and what will follow 2027's Man of Tomorrow. Quote, Supergirl we shot in London. Clayface was in London. We started shooting Batman 2 about a week and a half ago in London. Man of Tomorrow, which is what we're shooting now, Alcock is in that movie. Without giving too much away, this movie ends a particular way, and you see where she's going to end up. She's done her wild ways, and now she's going to try to get back in with her cousin and be more on Earth again. That's where she is in Man of Tomorrow. It's all more Earth based. We have Man of Tomorrow, and we are already know what the next movie is going to be after that, and she's a big part of that. Unquote. Now, that transition between Supergirl's more intergalactic set story and Superman's Earthbound narrative was a major reason why Cora Zor-El was selected to front the next DC Universe film. Quote, we're trying to build our DCU and that Superman family. That's the main reason we went there. The comic is also based on the Women of Tomorrow, and love that comic, and we haven't seen a Supergirl movie in a long time. We are now just trying to do what the previous regime did and dig in about the same characters. We're trying to get some of the newer characters in, so we want to base it with Superman and felt that Kara was the next best character to build that story. Also, that comic is intergalactic, which is where we wanted to go with it. Now you have an Earth story and an intergalactic story, so we're starting to see what the larger DC universe looks like. Unquote. While Kara still will appear in future DC films, Supergirl director Craig Gillespie confirms that this latest chapter isn't merely a lead-in to something down the pipeline. Quote, it's a standalone film. That was what was amazing. When I first met James, he was like, we're treating each of these as their own graphic novel. This is your graphic novel, the director recalled. It was both intimidating and exhilarating to not have any railings on this of where we could go with it. So I really leaned into this as a character story and went on this journey. I think that the journey is not complete, so I would love to see how she keeps exploring her own journey. So we'll see, unquote. It also was a film that, unlike most of its modern counterparts, runs about an hour and 48 minutes. As Gillespie says, quote, I hate a long film, he explained, because it's a road trip between two women, and it's very specific about their goals and where they're getting and going through their trauma. It's just ended up landing there. The more that we kept lean and true to just their mission, the better the film was. There's a ticking clock in this. We trimmed some scenes. We just want the audience to be on the ride right from the get-go. Now, of course, that's based on the Tom King and Bilquis Everly and Matthias Lopez's co-created comic, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and serves as the origin story of Krypton. They didn't do that in Superman, so you see the demise of Krypton through Kara's eyes, which is different. She didn't leave Krypton when she was a baby like Superman. She left when she was like 12 or 13 years old. There's definitely some emotional stuff here because she's leaving when she's close to her parents and she sees their demise, unquote. So, what's next for the Maid of Might? Yeah. Frankly, it was a good film. It was worth the time and the effort to go and see it. Yeah. So, again, go see it. Don't be a baby. Don't be, it's a girl. I can't enjoy that. It's like, no, she kicks ass. She does. And she gives no F's about it. Anyway, let's go on to the Geek News. Fans of the 2014 vampire mockumentary What We Do in the Shadows have a reason to celebrate. After a decade of rumors and development delays, Jermaine Clement has confirmed that he and Taika Waititi have officially begun writing the script for the long-awaited werewolf sequel, Werewolves. Clement shared the update with Collider while at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival, stating that the pair began collaborating on the project earlier this year, often coordinating remotely via Zoom to work around their respective schedules. The creative team is currently deliberating on the film's production methodology. While the original What We Do in the Shadows film relied on 100% improvised dialogue, the subsequent television series utilized a more structured, scripted format. Clement indicated that they have not yet decided whether to return to the improvised approach or move forward with a traditional script, knowing that both methods offer distinct advantages. While progress is being made, audiences are advised that the project remains in the very early stages. Clement estimated that the script may not be completed until next year, with a projected theatrical release in 2027. I'm so looking forward to this. But something I'm not looking forward to would be our next story. Universal Pictures announced Thursday that the studio is set to release Donkey theatrically June 30th, 2028. Eddie Murphy will return for the DreamWorks animation feature to voice the character that he played since the original Shrek hit theaters in 2001. Donkey returns audiences to the land far, far away and telling the adventure-seeking title character's origin story. Charlie Bean, known for helming the Lego Ninjago movie, is directing the prequel movie that counts Matt Flynn, who worked on The Bad Guys, as co-director. Rebecca Huntley serves as producer. Now, this might be good news for the animation franchise that explores the fairy tale world and is loosely based on William Steig's 1990 picture book, Shrek. Hitting theaters next summer, Shrek 5 sees Zendaya joining the voice cast. That includes returnees Mike Myers as the titular misunderstood ogre, Eddie Murphy as his best pal Donkey, and Cameron Diaz as Princess Fiona. The Shrek series' 4 theatrical movies have surpassed $2.9 billion at the global box office, with the most recent title being 2010's Shrek Forever After. It also spawned 2 spin-off movies centering on Antonio Banderas' Puss in Boots, with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish arriving in 2022. Murphy teased the donkey-focused project late last year during a conversation with The Hollywood Reporter. Quote, "I've always said I would do Shrek forever," the star said at the time. Donkey is a great character to play. I love the whole cast, so I was excited when it was like, hey, they're doing another one, and they want to do a donkey one too. I'm totally into it. There's not much for me to say there. I've said my piece about Toy Story 5. I think this needs to stop somewhere. You need to let it rest completely. Yeah. Do Shrek, do a new Shrek movie 30 years from now. Or never. But don't give us more. Yeah, I know. It's mainly a kids movie. Kids don't care. Kids will see it. But for the rest of us, it's like, anyway. Rick and Morty has been a fixture of Adult Swim for over a decade now. But the series is looking to go bigger and better than ever on the big screen. Creator Dan Harmon is still working out the details, but he knows what iconic film franchise will serve as his guiding light. Collider Steve Wintrob sat down with Cartoon Network president Michael Owleen at the Annecy International Film Festival to get a peek at Harmon's thought process in bringing the title duo to movie theaters. While Owleen couldn't reveal much about the movie, which is now in development, we know Harmon is working on it alongside Rick and Morty, which will finish off its 9th season next month, and then the new spin-off President Curtis starring Keith David, which will debut later this year. For the series' first big trip to the big screen, Harmon is taking inspiration from a classic Spielberg franchise, often seen as a high watermark for on-screen high adventure. Quote, "These guys understand story and adventure better than anybody. What Dan would want to do with the Rick and Morty movie is what he indelibly remembers going to see the Indiana Jones movies. So he's solving for that feeling of walking out. He's like, I want to replicate the feeling of walking out and hitting the sidewalk, having just seen an Indiana Jones. And he holds himself to a high bar. So that's the bar he's holding himself on that thing," unquote. Now, Owleen insists that the movie will be enjoyable for diehards and newcomers alike, and he asserts that you won't have to have studied Rick and Morty. Quote, he couldn't shed any light on a possible title when asked, saying, "Oh God, no." Well, that that and the next Simpsons movie, I'm all for that. Because we haven't had Rick and Morty on the big screen. This might be interesting. The Simpsons movie, we haven't had that in years either. See? Anticipation is where it's at, folks. Onwards, Netflix has successfully secured the feature film rights to the iconic children's series Sesame Street. The streaming giant emerged as the winner following a competitive bidding war involving Universal and Warner Brothers. Right Back, the production company behind live action hits like Lilo and Stitch and Aladdin, is set to produce the film in collaboration with Sesame Workshop. This acquisition marks a significant expansion for Netflix, which has already held the television rights to the series since May 2025. While the studio has cleared a path for development, no filmmaker is currently attached to the project. This movie is brought to you by the letter O and the symbol $. It's going to be a Merry Grinchmas all over again. Universal and Imagine Entertainment is moving forward with a sequel to the 2000 holiday classic How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Key talent from the original film is in talks to return, with Jim Carrey reportedly in discussions to reprise his iconic role as the Grinch, and Ron Howard attached to direct. Howard is also set to produce alongside longtime partner Brian Grazer. The studio has tapped a veteran comedy team to pen the script, with Alec Berg, Jeff Schaefer, and Dan Mandel, known for their work on Barry, Silicon Valley Veep, and Curb Your Enthusiasm, up to set to write the sequel. The trio had previously collaborated on the 2003 bomb, The Cat in the Hat. Released in 2000, the original Grinch movie was a massive success, dominating the domestic box office with $260 million and earning a total of $345 million worldwide, and also secured an Academy Award for Best Makeup, honoring the transformative work that defined Carrey's performance. The project remains a streaming powerhouse today, constantly ranking among the most watched holiday titles each year. Not in my house, though. Middle-earth continues to expand its ranks. Anna Taylor-Joy is the latest star to join the cast of the highly anticipated film The Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum. Gollum. Taylor-Joy is set to step into the role of Serene, a lethal Sindar elf of the Woodland Realm, joining a growing ensemble that already includes Kate Winslet, Jamie Dornan, and Leo Woodall. Andy Serkis is set to direct the project and reprise the role of Gollum himself. The story is confirmed to take place in the time frame between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings trilogy. The plot follows Aragorn and Gandalf as they track Gollum to uncover critical information about the One Ring, the artifact that threatens the very fabric of Middle-earth. Fans can also look forward to several familiar faces returning to the screen, with Ian McKellen reprising his role as Gandalf, Elijah Wood returning as Frodo, and Lee Pace back as Thranduil. Produced by Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, and Philippa Boyens, The Hunt for Gollum is scheduled to hit theaters on December 17th, 2027. And looking further ahead, the studio also revealed a second film, The Lord of the Rings: Shadow of the Past, is currently in development, with Stephen Colbert attached to write the script. That will be a good one. Horror fans, mark your calendars. The Blair Witch franchise is officially returning to the big screen. Lionsgate has announced that the next installment in the series is set to hit theaters on September 24th, 2027. The production is a major collaboration between Blumhouse and Atomic Monster, with filmmaker Dylan Clark tapped to direct. The project's creative team includes producers Jason Blum and James Wan, alongside a strong nod to the franchise's roots. Original creators Eduardo Sanchez, Daniel Merrick, and Greg Hale, as well as original cast members Joshua Leonard and Michael C. Williams, are all on board as executive producers. The latest entry aims to revive the series that redefined that basically started the found footage genre in 1999. Following previous attempts to expand the franchise in 2000 and 2016, this new film looks to recapture the tension and authenticity that turned the original project into a global cultural phenomenon. Yeah, considering that they just kind of, restarted that with that Backrooms film, yeah, it might be the right time to take another bite at that apple. Speaking of bites on the apple, it's time to hop on the bus, but not the one you remember from your classroom days. Legendary Entertainment and Scholastic Entertainment have joined forces to develop a live-action feature film adaptation of the beloved children's book series, The Magic School Bus. Rob Lerman, known for his work on Detective Pikachu, has been tapped to write the treatment and direct the upcoming film. In a major casting announcement, Elizabeth Banks is set to produce the project, and will star the eccentric and adventurous science teacher, Ms. Frizzle. This new development comes as the franchise celebrates its 40th anniversary, with over 90 million books sold worldwide. The Magic School Bus has been a cornerstone of children's education and entertainment for decades, following Ms. Frizzle and her class of extraordinary shape-shifting bus that rides through space, the human body, and beyond. The project finds a new home at Legendary Entertainment following a lapse in rights at Universal, which had previously announced a different take on the material back in 2020. While details regarding the release date or further cast members remains under wraps, the film is poised to introduce a new generation to one of the most iconic classrooms in history. Television has lost one of its biggest comedy names, James Burrows. The most decorated film multi-camera director in the history of the medium passed away in his sleep on June 19th after a brief illness. The Olympic Time Emmy winner was 85 years old. His 50-plus year career will remain unmatched both in longevity and influence, as he played a crucial role in some of TV's biggest hits, including Cheers, which he co-created, Taxi, Friends, Frasier, Will and Grace, 2.5 Men, and The Big Bang Theory. Burrows' longtime agent, Rick Rosen, said, quote, "Jimmy was the greatest comedic television director in the history of the medium. He directed the most iconic, defining shows of generations, Always a Gentleman. It was an absolute honor to represent him." Unquote. Burrows ran a small theater in San Diego before switching to TV directing. He began his career with the Mary Tyler Moore Show in 1974 and directed a slew of episodes of comedy shows such as The Bob Newhart Show and Laverne and Shirley. He went on to set the tone and help assemble the cast for some of the biggest sitcoms of the last 5 decades by directing the pilots for Taxi, Cheers, Frasier, Friends, Will and Grace, Third Rock from the Sun, 2.5 Men, Mike and Molly, Two Broke Girls, The Big Bang Theory, and The Neighborhood. Quote, "James Burrows was a legend, an icon, a singular talent and revolutionary in television. He brought laughter and love into more homes globally than any other TV director in history," said Will and Grace star Deborah Messing. Burrows directed all 246 episodes of Will and Grace, 236 episodes of Cheers, 75 episodes of Taxi, 49 episodes of Mike and Molly, 36 episodes of Frasier, 21 episodes of Caroline in the City, and 15 episodes of Friends. Burrows also served as the executive producer on Cheers, Will and Grace, and Mike and Molly, among many others. NBC said in a statement, "Jimmy Burrows was the man behind the curtain. He knew how to make us laugh, what buttons to push, and what was the absolute master of getting the most out of every joke. Every time you have a smile on your face watching the Mary Tyler Moore Show, Taxi, Cheers, Will and Grace, Friends, and countless others, think of Jimmy and know he made all our lives funnier," unquote. The prolific director never slowed down. In November of 2015, Burrows marked his 1,000th episode as a director, a milestone celebrated with a star-studded primetime special on NBC the following February that featured the stars from the biggest hits in his career. He worked on both the Will and Grace and Frasier recent revivals, and also exec produced and directed all 10 episodes of Will and Grace creators Max Mutchick and David Cohen's 2025 Hulu comedy series Mid-Century Modern, which landed him his 28th Emmy directing nomination at age 84 last year and 47th overall. Over his career, Burrows won 11 Emmy Awards, including 5 for directing and 5 for Outstanding Comedy Series, those being Cheers and Will and Grace. He also executive produced 2 live in front of a studio audience ABC specials, which recreated Norman Lear's All in the Family and Good Times in 2019, and The Facts of Life and Different Strokes in 2021. He earned his final Emmy for the former in 2020. In 2006, Burrows was inducted into the Television Academy's Hall of Fame. In what we believe his last public appearance, Burrows spoke at the November 2025 memorial of his agent for 50 years, Bob Broder. While he looked frail at the time, the director brought the house down with his signature wit and comedic timing. The poignant end to his career, Burrows most recently recurred on the 3rd season of HBO's The Comeback this year, reuniting with Friends star Lisa Kudrow. Playing a fictional version of himself, Burrows directed the pilot for the first multi-camera sitcom written by AI before quitting the production with the message, "AI can never deliver the emotion and tension needed to make great television." James Burrows was 85 years old. And finally tonight, Chase, the former child actor who voiced the character of Lilo in 2002's acclaimed Lilo and Stitch, and the same year was named Best Villain by MTV Movies Awards for her effectively creepy portrayal of the evil Samara Morgan in The Ring, died Tuesday from complications from meningitis. She was 35 years old. Her death was announced to TMZ by her boyfriend, Roy Hernandez, who has set up a GoFundMe page for the ailing Chase. Hernandez wrote that recently Deva was diagnosed with meningitis and several serious blood infections. Her condition became critical, and the doctors that told him that she may not have much time left. Deadline reached out to a representative for Chase and got the response: a man claiming to be Deva's boyfriend has launched a GoFundMe page purportedly on behalf of Deva and her family. Neither her family nor her close friends know who this person is. I can confirm Deva was a SAG Trust with a SAG Trust account with more than enough funds to cover all medical and related expenses. Born Deva Elizabeth Chase on July 24th, 1990 in Las Vegas, and raised in Albany, Oregon. Chase had launched her career as a child actor by age 7 when she appeared in commercials and on stage. At age 8, she began appearing on TV series like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Charmed, The Practice, and ER. In 2001, she was cast as Samantha Darko in Richard Kelly's cult film Donnie Darko, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. She voiced the character of Chihiro Ogina in the 2001 English dub of the Studio Ghibli film Spirited Away, but her breakthrough and signature role came in 2002 when she voiced one of the title characters in Disney's Lilo and Stitch. Her performance as Lilo, the orphaned Hawaiian girl who befriends an extraterrestrial she mistakes for a puppy, Lilo names her new friend Stitch. Chase voiced the character in various sequels and the 2003-2006 TV series. Also in 2002, Chase appeared in Gore Verbinski's horror hit The Ring as Samara Morgan, the lank-haired little girl dressed in white and possessing deadly supernatural powers. At just 12 years old, Chase became the ghostly face of the film and its most recognizable character. She was named Best Villain at the 2003 MTV Movie Awards, beating out Spider-Man's William Dafoe, Gang of New York's Daniel Day-Lewis, Daredevil's Colin Farrell, and Mike Myers, who portrayed both Dr. Evil and Goldmember in that year's Austin Powers in Goldmember. From 2006 to 2011, Chase recurred on HBO's Big Love as a young sociopath, Rhonda Vollmer, and in 2009, Chase reprised her role as Samantha Darko in Donnie Darko S. Darko. After appearing in Thomas Decker's 2016 horror film Jack Goes Home, Chase largely withdrew from acting. In the GoFundMe page, Hernandez refers to various difficulties encountered by the actor, including bullying and a falling out with her family. Chase, he writes, struggled to find safety and happiness in downtown LA, but that the two found moments of happiness and hope until her recent health issues. According to TMZ, Chase was taken to the hospital earlier this month for malnutrition. Deva Chase was 35 years old. And that brings us to the end of this edition of the show. Now, please be sure to check us out on social media. We're on Blue Sky at Multiverse Tom, Threads, Facebook, and Instagram, Multiverse Tonight. If you've got some value out of the show, please head on over to multiversetonight.com, where you'll find our Patreon and Ko-fi links. Check out our show notes, visit our TeePublic store, leave us with some feedback, and so much more. And if this is your first time listening, thank you and welcome. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and share us with others. Now, special thanks to Shane Ivers for the intro music, and Lobo Loco for the outro theme music. Thanks for watching this edition of Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more sci-fi and comic book news. Now, please, exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half Break Genre Productions, copyright 2026. All rights reserved.